But heading into the action next week, where he is now 7-4 against EIWA wrestlers this year. We'll see where he has himself prepared for 2 weeks. Meanwhile, at 133, Nick Kayal, the senior, third consecutive duel at this weight class, losing to Ryan Miller by major decision and defeating Ethan Smith by decision last Saturday in the 2 duels. Going up against Kurt Phipps, who's 14th ranked by Intermat, the senior for Bucknell. 21-3 this season. He's won 20 of his last 21, and that lone loss, Pat, by sudden victory. So the best he's had in his career in his senior campaign, right around that potential radar to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. So both of these wrestlers with a big match here.
Yeah, Phipps is tough. I think he's a guy that's, got a very, very high chance of making it to the NCAA tournament out in Kansas City. And, I think it's going to be a good test for Nick Kayal. And, we'll see if he's the guy next week. I know obviously Sean Pearson has been kind of the majority guy this year. And we'll see which one of these two seniors at 133 are going to, wind up being the guy and getting the nod for EIWAs. But it's a big matchup for Kayal. If he really wants to be the guy, I think if he gets a big win here, it's going to be a real conversation, and we'll see what happens. But regardless, going to be a good match. I think with Kayal at least, right? It's you could really get something good out of him, in a match where he feels like he's the underdog and doesn't really have anything to lose. So Phipps, again, going to have to just be really diligent and attack and kind of execute the way he has been, this season, so far this season.
Phipps has wrestled every Bucknell duel this season, 13-2. And last year made the NCAA tournament at this weight class, but as an at-large. So he wants to have a stronger finish in EIWAs and not have to wait to see what one of those extra bids goes his way. And obviously Bucknell hosting 2 weeks from now the EIWA championship. So he can end this on the right foot. Will feel comfortable at home. A former Pennsylvania state champion from Irwin, PA. Meanwhile, Kayal, representing Princeton, he's also a home state product from Elmwood Park, New Jersey, by the way of Bergen Catholic. And so far, neither one really turning up the tempo right now. I think they're still in the exploratory process, as a stalemate is called. Kayal last year spent some time in duels competition at 125, while one Pat Glory was briefly at 133. And, Kayal maybe a little bit more fit into this 133 spot later in this year after, again, Sean Pearson has seen a lot of time in duels competition at 133.
And fun fact, during my 5-year, I guess with the, gap year included, 10-year, on the Princeton team or around it, there was only one person that ever certified at 125 other than myself, and it was Nick Kayal. So, I give him a lot of props because it's not an easy thing to do. And obviously he's a 33-pounder. He looks pretty big here and doesn't look like he's giving up any size at all. So, did me a solid, for sure, for the brief time that he came down.
There you look at head coach Joe Dubuque. First year as a head coach, longtime assistant and associate head coach there for Princeton. Chris Ayers now over at Stanford, and Dubuque getting the call to become the head coach. This will be his final duel of his first year, and try to make sure it's in victorious fashion. Phipps starts off period 2, 9 seconds in with an escape. And we'll see if Princeton can find a way to get something going on their feet. Again, a successful first match with the Heat Tice pin, but Princeton had their struggles in terms of takedowns over the last 21 takedowns over the span of 38 matches if you exclude the 2 forfeits. They want to have a better percentage or rate, and here it comes with Kayal now going up 3-1 on the takedown. Phipps is working hard. He reverses, and it's not too long that Kayal has a lead. We're even at 3. That was a great job by Phipps. He didn't panic too much after being taken down and found a way to flip the script back in his favor. And here now, I think, Pat's probably where it's going to be important for Kayal to get to his feet before the period ends, not just to grab a point, but you keep an eye on that riding time. If it's a ride out, Phipps would be in great position to potentially earn a point with the riding time advantage.
Yeah, and then that, at that point, what do you do if you're Kayal here is tactically, you might want to choose neutral given the fact that you just scored a takedown and it's not a gimme that you're going to get out, right? So this is the big kind of last 30 seconds here as a stalemate's called. So Kayal's going to get a fresh start. Let's see if he can take advantage of it. But exactly like you said, I think that was impressive by Phipps to not really get too flustered by that takedown. And that's something that, guys talk about all the time. You can get down on yourself or you can just keep wrestling and chain wrestling. And, again, now he's in the driver's seat here again. And it looked like he might have been in a bad position for a second.
And he's a well-versed wrestler, 4-time Greco-Roman champ at the high school level, 3-time freestyle champ. And entering short time and period, too. A tough position for Kayal to get to his feet. That left leg was kind of clenched down for a moment. Phipps puts his weight up higher, and he'll ride out period number 2 after the reverse. Just a bit over 1 minute for the riding time. And so that's just enough, as we teased, for Phipps to potentially have a 4th point in his pocket. Kayal will choose neutral. And so it may come down to who can get the best shot in this 3rd period. Again, Kayal already with 1 takedown.
Yep, we'll see. Again, I think it's going to be a matter of who controls center and, who can get to a leg and finish, because, it's not just about getting the legs. It's about finding a way to create points out of it. And, it's going to be a fun 3rd period, but anybody's game right now. It's literally 1 second of riding time that, is kind of the separator here at this point. This Kayal is a nice little low double. This is really important here. Can he win this scramble? As you see Phipps coming over the top, now he's kicking in the armpit. And this is a good position for Phipps. He's looking to just, let this time tick away and, eventually get a stalemate, but
he's got a good hold of that left leg for Kayal. He's trying to fight through and put it to 3. Still a hold of the ankle by Phipps. Phipps now trying to work through it. He's trying to get 3 as the scramble continues. Both sides at one point were chanting 3, but the officials are locked in, seeing nothing yet. 40 seconds left to go. Are they going to settle for a stalemate? It looked like Kayal more so, because that left leg was really worked in by Phipps.
It's a win for Phipps. And even in just that last little continuation, probably ate up another 20 seconds of clock time. I mean, that's good tactical wrestling. Kayal's got to go. He's got to go now. It's go time, 30 seconds. And he got another low double. Again, let's see if he can hide his ankles. Phipps doing a good job. He's comfortable in this scramble, man. He just finds those ankles and it just hangs there. It's exactly what you kind of avoid if you're Kayal. And as you see, this clock is just ticking away.
In short time, and it may be 0.7 of a second. That's the difference. 1 minute and 0.6, the riding time advantage for Kurt Phipps. So a hard-earned 4-3 decision in his favor. But if you're Nick Kayal, despite the loss, I think he made a strong argument here of what he can provide. A guy who might be one of the higher seeds in the EIWAs, brought down to a matter of 0.1 of a second. As a result, it'll be Princeton 6, Bucknell 3 through 2 matches we